or even the Koreans. And here we go. Spawning in the top left-hand corner of Gressman, we have the South Korean Zerg player representing Dragon KyZ Gaming. It is Dark. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Terran representing himself as he is teamless. It is a Cure. Letting everyone know the predictions are open. Whew. And again, last night we had some pretty intense games. We did see Cure very often go for the 2 racks into a 3rd CC, a bit of a 2 racks opener into a more economic follow-up. But last night, Cure was even very aggressive as well, but Dark was able to just take that aggression and shut it down at every turn. Was able to have a dominant performance against Cure last night, but can he replicate that? Can he do that again? We're here to find out. I'm catching up with the chat. It was a 2-0 base TvT. Ay, ay, ay. Let's go. Thank you for letting us know. Thank you. As behind this, Dark is going for a hatch gas pool opener. Very economic opener here out of Dark. Meanwhile, Cure is going for, of course, the 2 racks opener, the Beyond opener, if you will, on the low ground, as to be expected. Again, Cure has become very fond of this, as we have kind of brought up and talked about at length, of course, at length. This is an opener that Beyond did popularize over the past year of play. Beyond, of course, was doing this last year in DreamHack Atlanta, and has since been refining it. And in recent months, because of all of Beyond's hard work, just refining and really through trial and error, just going through all the different variations and different follow-ups, this has now been adopted by everyone else. Not just by the Koreans, but in the last month or even 2 months, we have seen the Europeans do this as well. Clem, Spirit, Hero Marine, they've all adopted it, and yeah, it's kind of becoming the new meta, the new standard. As the first Reaper does make its way across the map, Dark is looking to take his expansion. Meanwhile, interesting, Cure is transitioning out of this, so he does make 3 Reapers, and he's already doing a lot of damage to this hatchery. But back at home, we actually have we have another Rax on the way. So, fun fact, we actually saw this last night. Before I get too much into that, so the Reapers are going to be dancing here with the Queen. We do get a surround! 1 Reaper will fall. A bit of a misstep there from Cure, getting surrounded like that. It is gonna really stem the tide, and he's gonna have a lot less to work with as a result. Is gonna still dance though with the army of Dark. But Cure was doing this last night, going for a 3 racks follow-up. It's not as committed as a 4 racks. Because of that, there's a little bit less pressure on Cure to get damage done, but he will have an abundance of Marines to work with, and this is scouted and confirmed by Dark. Very important scout here. He dips in from behind, and he does get eyes on the 3rd racks. He knows that the 3rd CC has been delayed. So less of an economic follow-up this time from Cure. And Dark, as a result, he's going to be cutting workers earlier on. He's going to be droning, for a time, but at a certain point, he will be cutting workers here to make more Lings to get ready for that eventual attack. The Marines are already revealing themselves. Lings try to get us around, but no, the Reapers will survive. And we even have a safety Baneling Nest being thrown down here by Dark, delaying his lair in favor of that Baneling Nest, even delaying his Evo Chambers. So very safe play here from our Zerg player. There is that 3rd CC on the way. So again, this isn't all in. I was mentioning earlier that this is less committed than a 4 axe. We have a much faster transition into a 3rd CC. But Cure is still looking for damage, as he has no medevacs to support this. So every stim is going to be crucial here for Cure. He can't waste his stim. He's done a great job at avoiding the Lings. He avoids the Overlords as well. And he's looking to catch Dark by surprise. He stims on forward, and he's diving on those Queens. Quick reaction out of Dark. He will lose 1. Loses 2 workers as well. Oh, and this hatchery is looking very vulnerable. Lings are coming in first round. The queens do come in as well. It looks like Dark will clean this up. That was close though. Again, a very quick reaction out of Dark, pulling back those queens. He only lost 1, and he only lost a handful of workers. Dark, he has weathered the storm. He's gotten through the worst of it. And now he has map control. Oh my god. Not just map control. Dark, he cut workers at 38, or technically 40, which is what you should be cutting it at. And he's going for a massive bailing counterattack. Uh-oh. They are spotted. Cure sees. As soon as he sees, he backs off. He's walling off. He's trying desperately to wall off in time. And will he get it up and running? It looks like the eBays are going to be thrown down, but the bailings, they do bust through. They're busting on through. They connect with the SCVs. It looks like Cure should be able to hold on, but too many workers are going down. 19 SCVs fall. As Cure gains control of his natural, he does hold, but he lost a lot in the process. 19 SCVs. And from here, Dark can drone. He has done enough damage where he can transition out of this. He can saturate his bases. We should be seeing a lair, and there it is. Lair is now in production. Ooh, even a Roach Warren. Interesting. It's Dark. Of course it's a Roach Warren. Is going for a more Roach-heavy composition. It's what he's comfortable with. With these links, he's looking to contain Cure for as long as he can, as Cure does want to take that third as soon as possible. Meanwhile, back at home, Dark is going to be working on his 4th. There we go. Double Evo chambers are on the way for those upgrades. And despite the posturing, Dark, he can't really stop this 3rd base from being landed, so he is being forced back, and Cure is now free here to go for some drops to try to keep Dark busy, maybe do some counter damage, as Dark has been droning heavily, droning up to 62 from 40. Remember, still doesn't have a 4th, unfortunately. We're still waiting for a 4th base to be taken. As the drop does threaten the main, but Dark is in position. He's going to get supply blocked for a moment. As Dark, instead of getting a 4th base, he is getting all of his gases. He does have less lava to work with, but that's where roaches come into play. Roaches are supply inefficient, but they are lava efficient. As Cure is doing a great job at just cleaning up a lot of this creep. We have another double jump here towards the south. Looking to try and contain Dark here and keep him back. And he's doing a great job so far. That's a lot of tumors going down. A lot of tumors. Roaches are trying to keep up, but they don't have roach speed, and oh, this is gonna be enough here to force Cure back. As Dark needs to hold on to this 4th. Behind this, Cure is looking to reinforce. He's keeping his tanks at home, but he is moving out here with as much of his marines as he can. Trying to keep the pressure on Dark. Deny a base if possible. And Dark is having a hard time splitting up his army. He has a lot of roaches here outside his natural, less so outside his 4th. Oh, and he's going to find out the hard way. Does force a stim. Not too bad. There we go, more roaches are being sent over. It's a delicate dance here between the roaches and the marines. And Dark is holding. And 1-1 is kicked in. 2-2 should be on the horizon here for Dark. Ooh, as Cure is going to be gaining some ground. He gets on top of these morphing Ravagers. A good trade so far here from Cure. Now he's going for the 4th, and Dark cannot stop him. But he does have some Cure dips back in. At the same time, the double drop not quite being active. Dark going for his own counterattack instead. But he's going to be running into a wall of tanks. Uh-oh. Can Dark pull this off? There aren't a lot of Marines to support this. And we do have some drops out on the map that are going to be pushing in. Here we go. Dark, he is getting on top of these tanks. Every tank is going to go down. The boys are being pulled. At the same time, here come the drops. We have a weird pseudo base trade. Where Cure, he can't hold against the Roach army. Likewise, Dark, he's going to have a hard time holding against the Marines. Third base goes down. Marines are pushing into the natural. Likewise, Dark also pushing into the natural of Cure. Boys, they have to be pulled from both players. The Marines are going to take down so many drones, but it looks like we have enough Roaches. Dark, he does defend. And across the map, likewise, Cure is holding onto his 2 bases, but he lost 35 SCVs. Oh. As we take stock, Dark may have lost his 3rd base, but he still has his 4th up and running. Cure is contained to 2 bases. Dark on 3. As another tank goes down. More reinforcements are moving out, by the way. This is going to be exposing Dark back at home. So it does have to be careful. As the Marines are pushing in. Once again, the boys have to be pulled, but it looks like Dark may just have too much. There's only 1 tank behind this. Only 1 tank keeping the army at bay. And Dark, he's going to collapse on this. At the same time, the Marines are gaining ground as Dark busts into the main. He's looking to camp the production. There is 1 tank behind this. Cure trying to get it up and running, trying to keep it alive, but it is going to go down. Oof. And Cure is losing too much. Meanwhile, across the map, though, Dark also doesn't have anything either. So we do have a really weird base trade, but again, Dark is on top of the production. It does feel like he's trading more efficiently. That's a lot of Marines, though. Oof. As another tank goes down. Cure finally pushing into the main base, but we do have Roaches waiting for him. Is it going to be enough? The boys, they have to be pulled. Up. Cure is down to 1 SCV, and he is forced back. Cure, he has 1 worker left. It's here mining at the natural. 21 Roaches against 13 Marines. And Cure is racing back home. Oh, I say that. He's going towards the 3rd. He's looking to take down the last mining workers here of Dark. This is still just getting really chaotic, but Dark does have a larger Roach army. Like, he should still be able to take this. Camping the production. Cure, he takes down the 3rd. Uh-oh. Dark, he only has 1 base left. He is down to 1 base. He needs to take this drop seriously. As Cure is gaining even more ground, taking down more of these overlords. Cure is still kind of in this. I do think that Cure, he can take down these like small pockets of army. But I don't know if he can contest against the Roaches that are left at home. Here we go. Does save his Marines. We can see Cure just just spreading out his bases, expanding wherever he can. Yeah, floating his production. And can he get his economy back up and running? Can Cure come back in this game? I don't think so. He's only got 14 Marines. Maybe. He's consolidating his army. He's bringing everything together. Lings are being shaved off. Dark doesn't have the best economy either. I would say, okay, so real talk. If Dark splits up his Roaches, then I do think that Cure can take this. Like even here, like a couple of Lings are being thrown away. Like every unit matters right now. Like Dark, he can't afford to throw anything away. So he has to be very careful with his army. So So if Dark does make a crucial mistake like that, then Cure can bounce back. He's got 2 orbitals, he has fresh mining bases, he's muling quite hard, and hey, he's, you know, looking to build up an army. He even has a Liberator on the way in production. But this northern base is not going to get up and running. The Roaches have arrived and Cure cannot protect it. He is not in position. SCVs are going down. Dark reclaiming control of his own natural base. But this is kind of what I mean. Like, Dark right now has his Roaches split up in 2 forces. I do think Cure can maybe fight the Roaches that are back at home, or even go for drop play and like kill drones. But as he moves out, he's exposing his mining base, and the Roaches are coming in. Uh-oh. They find the last mining base here of Cure. SCVs are going down. Marines are getting picked off, but again, an efficient trade. 3 Roaches get picked off. Again, Cure has a more efficient army. Like, his Marines, they're well upgraded. They are 2-2 Marines. And that's why Dark has to bring everything together. He has to take this slow. I know that, like, Dark, there's a lot of urgency on him to, like, try to end things here and now. But I do think he has to just at least get a third base. Get a third base up and running. But instead, on a 1-base economy, really, he is building up his Roach Ravager army. He's pushing forward once again. Medevac does bring Dark back for a moment. Now he's going to be pushing into Liberators, tanks, and Marines. Big tanks. Well, 1 big tank volley does go up. Liberator's going to be zoning Dark back, and is he going to drone? He still has a better economy, technically. And I know he wants to try to stop Cure before we can get back into this game. It's going to be filing down that CC. I see in the chat, what about a Banshee? Yeah, Banshee would be amazing. Banshee would be amazing right now. Oof. Stark is going to try to come in, but... up! File's not quite going to connect. 2 Roaches go down. Like, Dark is playing with fire right now. Like, he's losing more Roaches. Does get a tank. A Ravager goes down. Marines are falling likewise. It looks like Cure, he's running out of steam a little bit. Yeah, he just doesn't have enough Marines, and here we go. We have Dark pushing on forward. He breaks the defensive position here of Cure, gets on top of the tank, and that may just be it. That was a tense moment. Something like a Banshee would have been insane, but GG gets called, and Dark will take game number 1. After a crazy base trade. GG. That was only game 1. It's a best of 5, by the way. We have plenty of games ahead of us. Oh. Ay, ay, ay. Catching up with the chat. Oh my god, GG, well played. I can't believe that was only game 1, by the way. So yeah, we at least have 2 more. Dark does take a lead, but just barely. And from here, we're getting into game number 2, going to be taking place on Ancient Cistern. Here we go. Oh my god. Whew. And yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the players need a moment. I wouldn't be surprised if they need a moment to themselves. to just recover after that intense game. And here we go. You can hear the beeps. Game 2 will be taking place on Ancient Cistern, another large map. I've seen the last couple of moments there. Seeing the last couple of moments of that game. It was crazy, Bobby. It was crazy. And here we go. We're getting into game 2. Spawning in the top right-hand corner of Ancient Cistern, we have the South Korean Zerg player representing CranKy Gaming, leading the series 1-0. It is Dark. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Terran, representing himself as he is teamless, but definitely deserving to be on a team. It is Cure. I was wondering, Cure, of course, was on Team Abydos for quite some time for the season, the most recent season of WTL, but since then, Abydos has disbanded, and Cure is recently now a free agent. Hopefully he's able to find a nice home, though. Hopefully he's able to find a good home, because Cure is one of the best Terran players in the world. And yeah, it would be a shame if he does go unsupported. There's quite a lot of teamless players now, actually. There's Cure, there's Gumiho, of course, DRG and Nightmare. They are all free agents at the moment. And hopefully they're able to find some teams. If you're a team owner out there, consider it. Definitely consider it. As we are getting into this, once again, going to be a 2-racks opener from Cure, as we saw in the previous game, to kind of bring it all back, because that was a pretty long and pretty stamina, draining game 1. It did start off with a 2-racks into a 3rd racks behind it, before the 3rd CC, and we had a pretty committed bio push initially from Cure. It almost snowballed out of control, but if you remember, I believe he got 1 queen and 2 drones, so nothing too crazy. As Dark was able to react and defend in time, and eventually led into the 3-base play. Or it led into Dark going for a Bane Bust, actually. He went for a Bane Bust, which crippled the economy, and yeah, that was only the beginning of the madness in game 1. But now we're in game number 2. Dark going for his 3rd base. Going to be dancing here with the Reapers of his opponent. And Dark is looking to make sure he doesn't lose too much here. Does end up losing one of his Lings, but only a Ling. As the Reapers are dancing with these Queens. We have a 3rd Reaper on the way. Behind this, we are transitioning. This time, there is no 3rd racks. We're going straight into a factory. So Cure is varying things up. He's going to be keeping Dark on his toes. Dark, of course, does have a 2nd Overlord ready to dive into the main. And it is going to be an economic follow-up here from Cure. It is going to be a 3cc 2-1-1. So a much faster 3rd, a lot more economic-oriented here from Cure. A little more macro-oriented. So we're going to be having a much more cool, calm, and collected early game and mid game here in game 2. But we're chilling out. Of course, the Reapers are still posing a threat, and Dark has to take them seriously. But for the most part, you know, Cure, he isn't going for a big bio push after this, not anytime soon. He's more concerned with establishing his 3rd base. We're eventually going to see an add-on swap, and we will see some medevacs hit the field, but we're still a ways away from that. As Cure races back home, just as the Link speed finishes. Again, Cure, he doesn't want to lose his Reapers needlessly. And he is looking to deny the scouts. Overlord goes in, and Dark does get eyes on how fast this 3rd CC is, as well as the factory and the starport as well. So Dark is fully aware of the build of choice here from Cure. We can see him just focusing on Hellion production. We have a Liberator on the way. So he's not racing into those medevacs. he will have some Hellions first here for map control. And yeah, the Hellions, they're not alone. They're going to be able to join the forces of these Reapers as well. The goal here from Cure is going to just be to vie for map control, delay the creep as best he can. And hey, 2 tumors, not bad. Does snipe 2 of those tumors. And he's going to continue to keep Dark on his toes. Meanwhile, in the main base, Dark is going straight into his lair at a reasonable time. And going straight for that Roach Warren as well. Again, very iconic to Dark. He's very fond of his roaches. We saw them last game, and we're going to see them, I'm sure, many more times this series. Now, I'm not saying that Dark can't play Lingbane. Of course he can. But, yeah, Dark is just very fond of his roaches. It doesn't mean he's going all in or anything like that. It can, of course. It can lead to, like, a really strong timing with 1-1, but for the time being, I'm not too sure if that's what we're headed towards. Evo Chambers do finish up in the main, and 1-1 is on the way. Meanwhile, the Lings do catch Cure a little bit out of position, and we're going to be able to threaten the third. Meanwhile, Stim is done, the medevacs have hit the field, and Cure should be active, and there we go. Is going to be moving out across the map. So we have Hellions towards the right-hand side, we have the double drop towards the center. We could either try to bring everything together and go for one big push, or we can go for some multi-prong harassment instead. Queens are in position in the main. Dark anticipating a drop into that main base. For now, Cure cleaning up some of that creep. Roaches are in production. Dark does delay his 4th base by quite some time. He focuses on 3 base saturation first. You can see Cure threatening a drop into the main, but again, the Queens, they've been waiting for it. At the same time, Roaches, the Hellions, they threaten a dive into the 3rd, but the Roaches are here. Again, Dark able to keep up with the movement of his opponent. Oh, for the most part. As Cure is going to back off, look to reinforce. Behind this, he's still on a 3-base setup. Really getting too crazy, and Dark is able to slowly get into his 4th. 1-1 is about to finish up, and ooh, Dark is actually looking to go for a push here with 1-1 with a really strong timing. The reason why I say that is that he hasn't droned. He only has 3 base saturation. He is looking to max out on pure Roach Ravager. 1-1 is about to kick in, and is Cure ready for this? Not really. We do see the bases are being threatened, but Dark, I don't think he wants to turn around. He wants to commit to this attack. The 3rd base looking very exposed. Where are the tanks? The tanks are non-existent. The army has arrived. And Dark is going to be diving on top of those Marines. Biles not quite connecting. Going to be pushing back the army. The 4th base has gone down. But again, Dark, he doesn't care about the 4th. A tank. The 1st tank has arrived. Yeah, but the 3rd base is looking so vulnerable. Oof. Liberator goes down. And Dark is sending reinforcements across the map. He does have +2 on the way, but I don't know if he's going to need it. He may not even need it, as Cure was woefully unprepared for this. He was getting into mine production. Wasn't able to recognize what was coming until it was too late. Engineering Bay is going to be going down. The tanks are going to be able to hold on to the main at least, but you can see that Cure is just losing so much. And behind this, Dark, he can transition, he can drone. 4th is being rebuilt. 2-2 on the way. I guess Cure should have also recognized that, hold up, where's the 4th? You know, Darky was staying on 2 bases for so much longer. And with this, he can just contain Cure. He could even try to pile down the base. Uh-oh. The base is on fire. He wants it. He wants it, Papi. And he's going to get it. The CC goes down. And that may just be it. There was no 4th CC behind this. There was no backup base to be taken. Ugh. Cure is in a lot of trouble. He is in a lot of trouble right now, and again, Dark, he's double expanding. We have an infestation on the way for infestors. We have a good tank line. We had a good tank line. One of the tanks goes down. Ugh. And again, there's nothing forcing Dark to push in. He doesn't have to break the natural. He's already done the damage that he needs to. Instead, he's dancing with the army, forcing stims. He's playing with fire, but, I mean, as long as he stays out of range of those tanks, he should be okay. He has high ground vision. If he gets close enough, he could try to bile down the tank that's on the high ground, or even delay the CC. That's what he's going for. Ooh, he will get the tank. Yeah, now he's pushing in even further. Getting the tank on the low ground as well. And Dark just not holding back at all. He did drone a little bit. He droned up to 71. But now he's reinforcing once again, incorporating Lings. +1 melee's on the way. Hive as well, 4 Vipers. Cure does have a pretty terrifying army. Like, that's a lot of Marines. That's a lot of Marauders. And yeah, from here, he's just struggling to hold on. Every time he gets a third tank, one just goes down. Again, maybe Cure hoping that Dark overextends and pushes into him within tank range. But Dark is being more careful than that. Only coming in when he has Lings to tank those shots. Okay, he does have to be careful. Ooh, big tank volleys on those roaches. He does have to be very careful. As he can't afford to lose too much. Behind this, he hasn't maxed out. There we go. Vipers are in production. And Vipers are really the only thing that he's missing to break this position. As Cure is breaking free. Breaking free from his bases. Finally going to be taking his third. But by the time this has occurred, well, I mean, Dark, he's already got 3-3 on the way. Hive is done. He's refining his army with more Lings. Soon to be Banelings. There we go. Banelings are on the way. Adrenal, and more importantly than all of that, the Vipers. The Vipers have arrived. There are 2 of them just gathering up energy here in the main base. And this defender's advantage that Cure has had, it's going to pale in comparison to those Vipers. There's no answer to them. There's no ghosts, there's no snipes, there's no EMPs. There is a world where maybe Cure can snipe the Vipers before they get their blinding clouds off. But if they do land, then Dark can collapse on this position. Here we go. We do have a cancel here on this hatchery. It's something like Cure. He's being very active with this drop, and he needs to be. He needs to alleviate the pressure. He needs to allow himself some room to expand and take a 4th, and he is taking that 4th. It is his main. Bear that in mind. So, no planetaries. These bases are going to be very exposed to run-bys and counterattacks. But Cure, he's desperate. He is maxed. He does have a large army, and he needs a good economy with it as well. So the 4th is on the way. Meanwhile, Dark is coming in. Not the best angle of attack though. Yeah, Dark, he just has to give up this position. Hatchery is going to go down. Likewise, another base towards the north is going to be cancelled. Cure is fighting back. Now, the downside here is that this army from Cure, it's kind of one and done. Cure, he only has 53 workers. He doesn't have the best production behind this or the best bank. If Cure takes a bad fight, then it may just be over then and there. He has to be very careful with how he engages. So far, he's done well. Took down 2 bases. Dark respecting him quite a bit. Again, Dark, he has too much roaches. Like, his army just isn't efficient at all. Too much supply in roaches, not enough on Lingbane. And it's going to be difficult here for Dark to slowly trade out these roaches without things snowballing out of control. You can see him here just keeping the Lingbane back and pushing forward with roaches. He wants to bleed out roaches slowly over time. And here we go. Dark finally looking to collapse on this army. We have parasitic bombs and blinding clouds. There are still tanks behind this, but no, everything gets covered in those spells, in those blinding clouds, and yeah, Dark, he can actually keep on pushing, and if he does, he can collapse on this base. Meanwhile, towards the north, ooh, a massive Marine Marauder army is gaining ground, and another hatchery of Dark is going to fall. He's going to make a hard choice, and he pulls back. Ooh, he's going to pull back, and he's going to save his fourth, but he loses the fifth. And because of that, Cure, he's actually got a pretty comparable economy here to Dark. 4 bases versus 4 bases. Obviously, Cure isn't fully saturated. Like, he still has a low worker count. So not ideal for Cure, but better than it once was. As Dark now gets a third Viper. They're very low, so he has to be very careful. One good power bomb, though, can take down all of these medevacs. Likewise, the Vipers are battered and bruised, and so are these medevacs. Well, he wants them. Oof. There it is, the blinding cloud. Sorry, the parasitic bombs do take down a good portion of those medevacs. A bit of friendly fire from those biles. As we do see another army here towards the north, but there's Lingbane this time to clean it up. Oh, not going to be the best trades from Dark. Dark does get a kill on the third. Trading a base for a base. Cure loses his third. Dark loses his fifth. As Dark is desperately triple expanding. He needs one of these bases to get up and running. Meanwhile, Cure, that's his natural, by the way. He does land his natural at another base location. Fresh mining base here as the center base. As Cure tries to force his way in. A lot of Marauders, another hatchery goes down. Just Cure unrelenting, not keeping the pressure off at all. Let's see where he goes. He splits off his forces. It looks like he's going to be deflected here towards the north, but towards the south, I think he may get another kill on another base. Oof. This one has drones at it as well. Yeah, Darky is spread too thin. Spread too thin. He can't keep up. This hatchery is going to go down. Not just the hatchery, but also these workers. At this point, I think I would say that Cure is ahead. Cure, he's just got more efficient mining. He's got 3 fresh bases compared to Dark, who's running out of patches. And Dark just hasn't been able to be aggressive at all. Now, the Vipers are still alive. They are still alive. We have Infestors as well. Dark, I do want to believe that he can take a fight. But Cure hasn't been giving him the fights that he wants. Big Fungal. Oof. Medevacs go down a big portion of the army, and we have more Fungals where that came from. Oof. And this is the fight that Dark has been waiting for. Another army is coming in from the north, but we have plenty of Fungals remaining. It's going to be close. Ravages are going down. We need more Lings. Oh. We desperately need more Lings. As Dark cleans it up, Cure is forced back, but again, he has these bases. He's remaxing, rebuilding. Remaxing is a strong word. He's, you know, making units. Making whatever he can. And Dark isn't able to push out. Even though he cleaned up the army, even though this base is so vulnerable, these bases are so vulnerable, he hasn't been able to harass. He hasn't been able to touch these fringe bases, but I think soon he will. I think the changelings are about to reveal just how exposed these CCs are. And Lings should be counterattacking soon. Speaking of, one of the most important mining, oh, maybe not important, but one of the mining bases here, I guess they are important because there are so few of them, is going to lose every single drone. The Ling run by a little bit too late. Cure is in position. The space is protected. But Dark finally has some fresh bases. He takes the center top and that center base as well. Two fresh hatcheries. Oh. Meanwhile, another Ling counterattack here towards the south, and finally these bases are being punished. SCVs are forced off the mineral line. That's a kill, not a cancel. 400 minerals down the drain. We can't afford that. Every mineral is precious. Oof. Dark, now that he has been able to establish these bases, finally, he has a good enough economy. He is remaxing. He's actually building up a formidable force. Cure, meanwhile, still struggling to keep up. Things are settling down, but Dark is the first to max. And he isn't just maxed out, he has Infestors, Vipers, he has a pretty high quality army. A very efficient army, just because of all these energy-based units. Here we go. Hydra's lurkers are on the way. We're looking for another fungal. Up. Do land on one of those medevacs. Meanwhile, towards the south, there are only Lings to defend. Dark is a little bit vulnerable there. Lings do go for a counterattack. More SCVs are going down. The Bio Army has been revealed. Dark has to make a choice. Does he turn back around? No, he commits. Oof. Dark is forced back. And he's going to try to engage with this army. There are so many Lings. We may not have any Banelings, but it looks like we don't need them. 3-3 Cracklings. They're insane. They're cracked, Papi. GG gets called. Whew. And Dark will take game number 2. But once again, a really scrappy game. GG. Despite the early advantage of the 1-1 roach timing from Dark, despite denying the third and containing Cure to 2 bases, Cure, he fought back so hard. Like, that was crazy what Cure was able to, how well he was able to bring himself back from such a dire position. Getting his third back up and running, getting a fourth, eventually a fifth, eventually a 6th base. And yeah, because of the drop play of the multi-pronged aggression of Cure, he was pulling Dark apart. Constantly taking down bases, drones. But Dark was able to stabilize. Eventually, Dark did establish those 2 important bases on the left-hand side, or in the center of the map. Top center. And yeah, he was able to re-establish himself. A GG, well played. Dark is 1 game away from taking the series 3-0. Cure needs to bring it back here and now. What I will say, especially if you like tune in towards the tail end of that game, even though it's been a 2-0, even if it's a 3-0, I feel like that doesn't really sell the story of this series, because these games they've been brutal. They've been brutal, very close games. Very back and forth. And here we go. It doesn't do it justice. There we go. It doesn't do the series justice. The score doesn't say everything. As spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have the South Korean Zerg player 1 game away from becoming back-to-back champions. He is last night's ESL Open Cup Asia champion and 1 game away from becoming the Americas champion as well. Representing CranKy Gaming, it is Dark. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Terran player, currently teamless, but fighting back hard every single game. It is Cure. I see the chat catching up. Strap me in, Dark. Oh, God. Tie me up, Papi. Tie me up. Let's go. As Dark is opening up Hatch Gas Pool across the map, Cure for the first time this series is not going for a double Rax opener. For the first time this series is going for a much more standard location, much more standard opener with a Rax expand. I'm catching up in the chat. Every Korean Terran is doing the same forward 2 racks. Not just the Korean Terrans. It is becoming very meta. The European Terrans are doing it as well. So Clem, Hero Marine, Spirit, they've all done, in recent weeks, they've all done the 2 racks. The 2 racks opener here from Beyond. Of course, Kira is doing it as well. Very popular, very popular. Which is why, of course, I point out that this is the first time that Cure isn't going for it. And yes, as Asher is saying, what we have also learned as well, thanks to trial and error, and of course experimentation from Björn, is that even if your add-ons are exposed, it doesn't matter. If you're able to scout an early rush or early aggression, you can defend your add-ons, and you can, yeah, defend quite well against Roach Bushes and Bane Busts. We have already seen that played out. As Cure is going for a 3cc opener. Okay, very stock standard, very economic here from Cure. Going back to basics. Love to see it. Oh, what is this, 2022? What's going on? It's actually been a long time since I've seen an opener like this. I appreciate it quite a lot. Thank you, Flappy, thank you. Just varying things up. Is going to be 3cc Banshee, sorry, 3cc Starport into that Starport. But we are setting up for what should be an add-on swap here for Banshees, but we'll see. We'll see what Cure has in store for us. Across the map, the Reaper is just going to be poking and prodding, gets eyes on the third base. Ooh, as Dark is going for a very early Roach Warren hidden here in the main. Oh boy. We'll see how this unfolds. Dark did dip in with his Overlord. He did confirm the 3cc opener. He's aware of how economic Cure is being, and he's going to try and punish that. Now, it's going to be a really interesting dynamic because Banshees will be available. Cloak Banshees at that. They are ideal to defend against Roaches. So we'll see how hard Dark commits to this, if at all. For the time being, Cure is just vying for map control, moving out with his Hellions, with his Reaper. Is going to be able to take down one of those tumors. But as the Hellions and Reapers are zoned away, Roaches are in production. So far, 9 Roaches here from Dark. They're going to be looking to bypass the army, get across the map, and get some economic damage done. It looks like we aren't going to be committing more than 9. Oh, as it looks like they are going to end up coming across these Hellions. The Banshee as well. Yeah, with the arrival of the Banshee, the Roaches are being forced back. And Curie's gonna back up. Upon seeing the Roaches, he's like, he's gonna back up here with his Hellions for now, just consolidating his forces. We can see Dark, he wants to try to sneak out across the map. But again, it is gonna be difficult to do so. Does come across the Hellions here on the left-hand side. You can see the rest of the Roach army is going to be rotating over. For now, Dark just droning, is working on his lair. Every game so far, Dark has incorporated Roaches in some way, and that's just how Dark plays. It's what he does, it's who he be. As the Banshees are headed towards the main. Again, we do have Spores already ready for this. Of course, Dark, he scouted the opener earlier, and he also saw the Banshee, so he's quite ready for them. Overall, 2 Queens and a Spore. Shouldn't lose too much, but we'll see if Cure can make some magic happen. Going to get 3 gas mining workers. Not too bad of a start. Ooh, the spores being repositioned. The queens are taking a lot of hits. But for the time being, Dark is holding. Hellions are getting ready for a counterattack as well. If Dark overreacts, then that will create an opening here for a run by. As a third queen shows up, and Dark is going to be able to hold. Behind this, a very fast infestation pit. We are rushing into, oh my god, a sub 7-minute Hive. Hive is on the way. Hydrogen as well. Are we feeling lurkers? I'm curious. As the Hellions are looking for damage, they do get into the mineral line. Can they get any drones? Oof. Almost. A lot of these workers do get bruised, but they do not go down. Good defense by Dark. Things got very chaotic. Things got very intense, and there it is. Lunkers. Dark is rushing into Lunkers. Can he get there in time? As interesting. So, when I saw the opener from Cure, I assumed that he was going to 8 racks. I assumed that an 8 racks was upon us, but no, Cure, he's getting a 4th on location, he's taking his gases, he is looking for a longer game. He's keeping his tanks back at home, only being active with drops. Because of that, Dark is getting away with this tech. And so much just hasn't been seen. So much hasn't been scouted. If the drop goes into the main, then Cure will have a piece of the puzzle. He will recognize, hold up, that's a fast Hive. But again, he hasn't seen anything yet. He hasn't seen the infestation pits, the hydrogen. Now he knows though. He is now aware of the infestation pit with those infestors. Meanwhile, a double drop is being sent towards the right-hand side. Dark getting in position. Bruce mines are on the way. And so far, Dark, he's done a great job at hiding his like high-tech units. He's been defending with roaches and infestors, and he's been keeping the Vipers and Hydras hidden. Likewise, Cure just being very defensive back at home. I will say that that's like an advantage that Cure has, is that Lurkers aren't the best units at breaking siege positions like this. As I say that, we could try to go for a Nidus. There is an Overlord here towards the main. We could try to bypass the siege tanks. As the drops are going to be threatening into the main. Or threatening a drop into the main base. Queens are waiting for it though. Vipers gathering up energy. And I guess what I should say is that sure, Lurkers, they may have a hard time breaking these siege positions, but that's what the Vipers are for. For those blinding clouds. Yeah, Roaches are clearing up these rocks. Dark has maxed out. He's getting ready for his push. Now, things could get chaotic again because we do have some drops that are active on the map. So, if Dark commits, there we go. The Lurkers have been revealed. Cure, now aware of what's going on. But the Lurkers have arrived. Oh, one of them, 2 of them going down instantly. But big abductions here on 3 of those tanks. Despite that, Dark not really gaining too much ground. Again, losing so many Lurkers so quickly. He is deflected. Again, that could have been a big moment for Dark, but yeah, every Lurker is going to go down. He has to back off, remax, rebuild. Gathering up more energy on those Vipers. Now, what's important is that because he killed 3 tanks, like that tank count, it's going to take a while to remax, to rebuild, sorry. But we are making 2 tanks at a time. Oh, big fungal on those medevacs. On the bio as well. But yeah, Cure, he's slowly expanding, taking a 5th base. Dark cannot allow this to happen. Is catching some of these tanks unsieged. Lurker reinforcements have arrived. They're getting on top of the tanks. Cure was not ready for this. Oof. And he's being zoned away from his own bases. These CCs are going to be forced to be cancelled. Again, Cure in a really awkward position. Ghosts are arriving. have almost a surround setup here on these lurkers. And I feel like Dark should leave. Ghost from one side, tanks from the other. And he looks like he wants to get a little bit more value out of this. But we're bleeding out a lot of lurkers. These are expensive losses for Dark. Is going for a lurker run by there. It's getting a lot of SCVs. Is helping to make up for that. Oh, and he is canceling these CCs as well. And here we go. The Lings are flooding on in. They get on top of the tanks. They can get on top of the Ghosts. Not quite. Not quite enough. God, there are lurkers everywhere. Denying so much mining here. Keeping tabs on Cure. Another tank goes down. Lurker range has kicked in. Oof. And yeah, it does feel like Cure is kind of being picked apart here. Big fungal on those Ghosts. As Dark is edging his way closer. Likewise, massive snipes coming in from Cure, and the lurker count gets completely reset. Yeah, that's what I was kind of concerned about. I do feel like Dark did overstay his welcome here. And I mean, he was getting value. He was denying CCs, he was picking off tanks. But he lost everything. Behind this, though, he remaxes. That's the difference, right? It's like he was denying mining at bottom left. He was denying mining here at the third base. So he is able to be the first player to remax. Big spine volleys off on those Marines. Ghosts are holding the line. At the same time, another lurker hit squad. The planetary will fall. Cure will not get a fifth base up and running. Oof. Yeah, we're even going to be threading the fourth as well. Tank, I think, barely is going to go down. Yeah, and Cure, he's just getting even closer to that mineral line. A lot of these lurkers are going to get sniped, though. A big overextension from Dark, but at the same time, he's denying the third. You could argue this is becoming a little bit wasteful for Dark, but because he's doing so much economic damage, he can still afford to do so. So we have more lurkers on the way. Cure trying to re-establish bottom left. It's going to be an orbital this time, not a planetary. So a riskier base to take. Less defendable as well. As Dark has been left alone this entire time. He's at 90 workers, has an amazing economy. He's going to be able to get a couple of tanks. One tank. Barely two. Trading gas from minerals. Again, a more efficient trade for Dark. He's pushing on forward here on the left-hand side. There are tanks waiting for him. Yeah, rough moment for Dark. Not quite able to break that. Oh. The lurker harass just doesn't stop. He pushes through the center instead, but the tanks have been replaced. Oh, but the ghosts are out of position. Tanks are going down. Massive fungal on the ghosts. A big pickoff. Cure trying to save whatever he can. Reinforcements are coming in from behind. Oof. And it looks like Cure can maybe just barely clean up these last two lurkers. Does get them. These Ling reinforcements were a little bit too late. Yeah, if only they had arrived a couple of seconds earlier, then that could have actually been game. But Cure is holding. He's barely holding on. Meanwhile, Dark really wants to make this work. Adrenal glands finally kicking in. His Ling's going to be that much more effective. No melee upgrades, though. Oh, this is an ambitious move here from Cure. Pushing onto creep. Oh, he's going to be losing a lot of his buy. The lurkers, they push on forward. Some of these tanks are caught on siege. No bailing speed. Uh-oh. Unfortunately, no bailing speed is available. Decent connections. The lurkers putting in a lot of work. Dark holds on. And Cure, he gets his fifth base up and running. Finally, he's able to, for the most part, mine uncontested. And as a result, he can keep up here with the production of Dark. Earlier, we saw how hard Dark was fighting to deny the fifth and to kill his opponent then and there. He hasn't been able to. Is still being a nuisance here on the right-hand side, to be fair. I know the Vipers were rebuilt, and oh, they're actually here towards the north instead. Interesting. I love it, actually. The Ghosts are busy protecting the fifth. They're not here at the third base. And here we go. Dark, he's pushing on forward. Viper's actually heading towards the center instead. Cure being caught out of position. Oof. He has to push up a ramp into lurkers. And it's not going to work out. Third base is going to go down. Big blinding clouds on the tanks. And even though Dark is being forced back, he does take down this base. Oh, can he get the orbital? Up! Up! Barely does. Again, Cure, he was just so hyper fixated here at his fifth. And now Cure's in a bit of trouble. Now he's stuck on a 4-base economy. Lings, they trickle on in. They get on top of every single one of these tanks. They were left exposed. Oof. The tank count gets reset. Lurkers are being caught out. But Cure, he's running out of money. He does have one mining base here towards the bottom left, which is pretty important to him, but without his tanks, Dark, he has free reign. Oh, yeah, the Lingbane rolls on in, does connect with those ghosts. Liberators get yoinked. At the same time, there is a drop here on the right-hand side, but we have reinforcements. Dark does hold on. We're even abducting ghosts. I mean, sure, yeah. Why not? Yeah, this is a bit of a slow death for Cure. He's being starved out, essentially. He's having a hard time keeping up economically. Earlier, he was doing a better job, of course. He was able to, you know, contend with Dark for quite some time. But alas, Dark, he's just finding these openings, finding these vulnerabilities. Pushing in between these bases. Can he get the orbital? Won't quite get it. But he gets into the natural. Lurkers are going to get cleaned up. Again, you could argue that this is a little bit wasteful, but I mean, Dark, he can afford to be wasteful. As a lot of lurkers are going down. Six SCVs. And looking at the units tab here, Dark. Oh god. There's no follow-up, but does connect with a massive fungal. Remaxing on more Lings or more Hydras. Jesus, this Cure. That's how desperate he is right now. Long distance mining from some of the bases of Dark. That's all he can do. Lings pushing into the natural. They're taking down the Ghost Academy, camping the production. Oh, a big fungal and parabomb on the Medivacs. Oof. And Dark, he can afford to lose a base. He's consolidating his army. He's getting ready for one last attack, one final push as he collapses on the ghosts, on the tanks. Massive fungal. GG gets called, and Dark will be this week's ESL Open Cup Americas champion. GG. Oh my god. Jesus, even this game though felt so tense between these two players. It may be a 3-0 on paper, but these games were very close, very back and forth, especially game 1 and game 2. Cure fighting his heart out, may not have taken a game, but a very, very entertaining series, a very close series. GG, well played. Congratulations to Dark. My condolences to Cure, as he was not able to take a game or take the series itself, but he did a great job at making it this far and was able to earn quite a lot of money as well. Money that, of course, he does need right now. He is currently teamless, so is providing for himself, and yeah, he's playing in as much as he can as a result. So best of luck to Cure. Best of luck to Cure in his endeavors. Meanwhile, Dark really showcasing his skill in ZBT today, or over the last 24 hours. Fun fact, here in ESL Open Cup Americas, he defeated Cure in the finals, of course, and also Beyond in the semis. Last night, the reverse. Dark defeated Beyond in the finals and Cure in the semifinals. So, yeah, back-to-back, Dark has been looking dominant against both those players, and yeah, we've been seeing a lot of his ZBT as a result. And I'm not complaining. Not complaining at all. Do love that matchup, especially when Dark is involved, and Beyond and Cure as well. And I do recommend checking out the VODs. A lot of really entertaining games, a variety of different builds and play styles. We saw a lot of all-ins, we saw some macro play, 4 axes, 3 axes, Mass Reaper. Again, a wide array of variety here in these EVTs, and yeah, GG. GG, well played. Congratulations not just to Dark, but also to the people that did predict Dark to win as well. As the majority did go for that prediction. Again, coming in as the favorite player, of course, and yeah, hope everyone in the chat enjoyed themselves tonight. Not just my cast here, but also Dave Testa rated us earlier. I think he was covering the semifinals, the TvTs that were going on. So massive shout out to Dave Testa, as well as Shuyi. Shuyi also rated us as well, so thank you. Thank you so much. We appreciate the support. Quack. And hope you both had great streams if they're still around. I know it's getting really late in America. I know it's getting really late in North America, I should say. So hope you're able to get plenty of rest. Meanwhile, thank you so much. Thank you so much for tuning in. Oh. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for sticking around as well. I mentioned this earlier, but if you enjoyed this tournament and if you want some more, next week. This is a weekly tournament, so every single week we're live with ESL Open Cup Americas. We missed out last week, but that was because of some internet issues. I did disconnect and I was having a hard time casting, so yeah, unfortunately some tech issues last week, but for the most part, we're here every week. Every single week for ESL Americas and ESL Asia as well, and plenty of other tournaments. So if you want some more StarCraft, we have you covered. We have you covered with ESL Open Cups, with WTL, with Kung Fu Cup, KSL, our own tournaments like Grand Platypus Open, Sparkling Tuna Cup, and many other events. We're live every single day. We are live on this channel every single day with plenty of StarCraft. We take pride in the fact that I think we're the most active casting channel out there. We cast a lot. And speaking of being active more than, or having more than one cast a day, we're gonna be live in a couple of hours. Let me just double check. I'm gonna have to sleep. I'm gonna go on a small nap, a short nap. I'm gonna get some food, go to bed, and just double checking the schedule here. 7 hours. In 7 hours from this message, we're gonna be live with day 1 of the Masters Coliseum. You may be unfamiliar with that tournament, but it is a premier event that is being played out online. It's an online event. I say premier. It's, oh god, it's $40,000, 40,000 USD on the line. Anyone who's anyone is a part of this tournament. Players like Cyril, Showtime, MaxPax, Maru, Clem, Rainer, Hero, Alaser, Solar, Beyond, etc., etc. The best of the best are competing in the Masters Coliseum, and it is going to be a major tournament that takes place over the course of 2 weeks. So every single day for the next 2 weeks, we're going to be live with Masters Coliseum. And starting tonight is the group stage, is Group A. So I believe that tonight is Group A, the first half. Tomorrow is the second half of Group A. Then the day after, Group B, Part 1. Day after that, Group B, Part 2. And we work through all the groups, and then we work through all the playoff matches as well. Every single match is going to be casted on this channel. So yeah, we have plenty of StarCraft available. And again, it's going to be every day for 2 weeks. Every night. So mark that on your calendars. A lot of high quality StarCraft going to be going on. And on top of that, we have all of our other tournaments like OSC King of the Hill, the ESL Open Cups, KSL, and many other events. So yeah, if you enjoyed the cast and if you want more, consider following. Consider following us here on the CranKy Ducklings. We have a Twitter, we have a Facebook, we have an Instagram, we have a YouTube channel, and we have a Discord server as well. We also have a Patreon, so you can follow us on social media, or you can follow us on YouTube, or you can support us on Patreon. All the money that we make on Patreon goes towards our tournaments, and you can see that just under there. If you're familiar with Dave Testa, he of course organizes KSL for the Korean scene. We do something similar with our Patreon. We support the North American scene, and the Southeast Asian scene, and the Oceanic scene. We host many events, and they're all bi-weekly right now. If we can reach certain goals, then we're going to turn them into weekly tournaments. But for right now, every 2 weeks we host our own events, very similar to KSL, but targeting other smaller regions that need support as well. Like, of course, the Koreans, with GSL shrinking, they do need the community to step up. But likewise, so do all of these other smaller regions. So that's where we step in. Again, these smaller regions, they have a little bit less interest viewership-wise because there are no Koreans or Europeans. So understandable that we have a little bit less support, but we're working on it. We are working on it, and we're doing our best. We've been running them all year so far. So yeah, so far we're halfway to our first goal. We're halfway there to fully funding the events by the community, and yeah, hopefully we can get there and yeah, even grow our tournaments from that point as well. That's our goal, at least. That's our goal. So yeah, with that, I hope you all enjoyed yourselves. As a reminder, we're going to be live in 7 hours. I'm probably going to get something to eat, like grab a bite to eat, and then I'm going to force myself to sleep. I want to be well rested because it's going to be a long cast. Let me just double check. Are they best of 5s or best of 3s? Oh boy, please don't be a best of 5. Okay, best of 3. So tonight, how many matches do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Tonight we're gonna be casting 7 best of 3s. Ooh, and the first one, Serral versus Maru. Serral versus Maru. Showtime versus MaxPax. MaxPax versus Maru. Gumiho versus Trigger. Serral versus Showtime. Gumiho versus Maru. Trigger versus MaxPax. A lot of StarCraft, a lot of really good matches. So again, I'm probably gonna try to get a nap or try to get some sleep in, to make sure that I'm well rested, that I'm not tired. That's the biggest thing that I'm always concerned about, because we cast every day, is just to make sure that I'm not fatigued, and make sure that I'm full of energy. So gonna try and get some sleep. It's 2 p.m. here, 2 p.m. in Australia. So do my best. I may be joined by other casters, other CranKy Duckling casters, later on in the week. Asher and Yaku, they're going to do their best to join me as well. So yeah, something to look forward to. Outside of that, thank you so much for watching, everyone. Thank you so much for your support. Exclamation mark. Exclamation mark socials in the chat if you want to follow us. And yeah, stick around. We're going to be giving another StarCraft streamer a raid. I'm not too sure who, but we will be raiding another streamer. So stick around, give them a chance, give them some love and some support. Until then, I'm going to be going to bed. So we'll see you guys in 7 hours. Until then, hasta luego. Bye.